Ken Roper, I'm the County Administrator for Pickens County. I report to Pickens County Council directly, and I'm in charge of day-to-day administration of county government. Well, Pickens County is a mountainous area. This is basically the home of the highest point in South Carolina, which is Sassafras Mountain. It's also home of the highest mountain in South Carolina, which is different because the entire mountain, Pinnacle Mountain, is located within Pickens County. So when you're thinking of the mountains of South Carolina, you're talking about Pickens County. Those topographical challenges that we have in Pickens County give us issues with our roads program, with our drainage areas, with our radio receptions, with our response of emergency vehicles. We did not anticipate the degree to which it would impact our jurisdiction. We don't have a lot of experience with tropical storms or hurricane winds hitting us up here in the foothills and in the mountains of South Carolina. So we learned some hard lessons in the first 24, 48 hours after the storm. Impacts we had here from roadways being blocked by trees and power lines, to flooding in low-lying areas, to our inability to communicate through traditional means, things like cell phones, etc., computers, internet availability. All of those created huge challenges for us, particularly early on in the storm. Well, I would tell you that one of the things about being part of Appalachia is the self-reliance. And so you're talking about people in our community that are self-reliant, they are tough, they are resilient, and if there's a problem to be solved, they will solve that problem right there themselves. So we have countless stories that have come out of the storm where neighbors helping neighbors that might have heavy equipment just heading out as soon as the wind stopped blowing and seeing what they could do to help other folks in their community. And that's continued to this day. The good neighbors here, the good people here, the good people, hard scrabble folks that are willing to address their problems. You give us any kind of tool and we'll fix that problem. And so it's very heartening to watch that happen. When Hurricane Helene hit, I lost my internet, I lost power, I lost cell service. My only lifeline as the county administrator in charge of the response was through my radio, my handheld radio that I'd been issued by our emergency services folks. So the rock radio was in my hand, and that's the only way that I had to communicate with this location, our headquarters, during the emergency. But for that ability, that radio that was issued to me, which quite frankly, when they issued it, I thought it might be a novelty for me. I'm not in emergency services, but it was my lifeline to be able to stay in contact with the emergency services folks during the storm. And then within 24 hours, when they had me back on traditional means, I was able to watch what other folks were able to do with this radio system. And it was very heartening to know that we made the right choice. We became suddenly, when the storm hit, it became 1962 in Pickens County in terms of our capabilities and our ability to communicate and travel. It was even worse than that because we couldn't get around physically into a lot of places. So it impacted commerce, it impacted communication, it impacted basic functioning of county government, emergency vehicle response, the ability to get into the places we needed to get. But the one thing that was consistent that we were very fortunate to have was our new radio system. Those communications where we were staging emergency locations for people to pick up supplies, the people were communicating on these radios that we purchased through this project. Radio system was a lifeline for us. We were very, very, very satisfied with our ability. It was a sea change for us when we went to this unified radio system so that all of our different disciplines, our fire, our EMS, our law enforcement could all be on the same radios talking to each other instead of having to constantly call back to headquarters or call back to dispatch. So having that interoperability was invaluable during the storm. We learned very early on that we'd made a wise decision when we decided to go to one unified radio system for all of our disciplines in the county, immediately paying benefits during that storm. Yeah, I would say that the folks at ROC are going to take time with you. They're going to explain it. They're going to tailor-make it to your environment. Where do you need assets in your community? They're going to take into account your existing assets. They're going to also take into account your unique topography like we have and custom build something for you. And so we really enjoyed that collaborative approach that ROC Communications had with us, and I think it led to us having a great result. It was so good for morale when we issued the radios to our administrative staff, and we quickly adopted call signs for ourselves and for each other, and we were able to keep things lighthearted through the first week or so of the emergency when we were all under a great deal of stress. Having those radios and being able to enjoy our communications kept things lighthearted and kept us working and kept morale up on the administrative side. They still call me Eagle One when they pass me in the halls.